Hi, this is Pete from Strymon, and I'm going to be walking you through the Capistan dTape Echo. There's quite a lot to cover, so I'm going to play some and turn some knobs and explain what some of the features and functions are. On the for the knob selections, we've got time, which changes your delay time. Tape age, which changes the bandwidth of the tape from full bandwidth to older tape, which would have a a dark top end. Repeats, which is the number of echoes you get. And wow and flutter, which goes from a perfectly tuned mechanical system to one with quite a bit of warble and a bit of need of some service. And we've got secondary functions on these knobs as well. So these are functions that you access by holding down the tap and bypass buttons together and turning the knob. So on the wow and flutter, we have the tape friction component of the mechanical influence on the tape speed. So I'm going to turn the wow and flutter to 0 and turn the tape friction, which we call tape crinkle in the labs here, to 0. So now we've got a delay that tape machine that shows no sort of mechanical defect. And if I turn up just the friction component, you hear there's actually tape splices and little tape creases and the friction from tensioner and the contaminants on the tape. And when you have full bandwidth, that becomes more noticeable. We'll go into this other function a little bit more, but if we slow down the tape speed, that aspect tracks as well. The secondary function on the repeats knob is the tape bias, and that allows us to vary the dynamic range and headroom of the repeats based on the bias of the tape. The hotter the bias, the more the bias signal kind of takes up the available headroom of the tape, and you end up with repeats that end up saturating at a reduced volume. What's nice about that is you can set the delay for oscillation repeats that don't actually give you a big volume increase. So we'll set the bias to maximum, and we'll set the repeats pretty high here. So you hear that the repeats continue, they're saturated, but they're not at a higher volume than what I'm playing into the delay. So here you hear the characteristics of the tape saturation. So that's a nice feature. Now we can, by pressing them down and going back here, we're at a much higher headroom. So the repeats have a little more dynamics to them. They're a little lively. And if I were to turn up the repeats accordingly, we hear that the repeats are experience the volume increase because of the increased dynamic range of the repeats. So it's nice that you can kind of tailor that how you want. If you want to play with washed out oscillating repeats, you can kind of set the level through adjusting the bias. On the tape age, the secondary function is the low end contour, and at minimum we have a full low end available. Pretty much all magnetic tape machines, you're going to get some roll off. We allow you to, if you want to have the extended low end, dial it in by turning the low end contour to minimum. And if we bring it up halfway, here you can hear the low end as the repeats progress, trailing off, and we go up all the way. You get to a dramatic, high pass effect on the low end there. And what's nice with it set extreme like that, it actually makes for some really nice. I'm going to go back to a higher bias here to get a really nice kind of band passed effect on the repeats. The secondary function for the time knob is a spring reverb. Actually, a lot of these magnetic and tape delays had spring reverbs in there to kind of add a little more to the ambience and the sci-fi stuff. So by holding down tap and bypass, we can mix in a spring reverb. Mix that to whatever degree you want. So that's kind of a cool little bonus feature that this is a tape delay with a spring tank in all the modes of El Capistan. The spring is available and active.